Good morning and welcome back to our daily vlog. And since we're already up Cadbury Hill, as we've been celebrating Ascension this morning, I thought it might be nice, give you two for the price of one, to enjoy the beautiful views. And since we are already here and I've got some beautiful people, today we're looking at bearing witness to Jesus Christ through the Holy Spirit. So we're looking at testimony. Thought it might be nice to get some other people's perspective on their testimony. So the reading today from Acts obviously looked at the testimony of Luke, how he saw what happened with the works of Jesus and how the Holy Spirit filled him as he wrote that. And all through the scriptures we have the letters, and that's the Holy Spirit filling the writers to say what they wanted to say about Jesus, so that we know that Jesus is the Messiah. But how do we know that we're filled with the Holy Spirit? Well, I've been to church all my life, but I'd never been completely involved like I am now until I started coming back to church after my parents died. I went back to Bamwell, and the first sermon that I listened to was talking about how you can feel empty after a bereavement and that Jesus can fill up your cup. And my friend turned to me and said, "That's your mum talking to you, that is." And I could hear her voice saying it, but I know that that was the Holy Spirit. So what about other people? I've got lovely Diana here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, lovely Kirsty.
Very welcome.
Well, I came back to the church after quite a long absence in about 1981, and I also came back to choral singing at that time, particularly sacred works such as Mozart's Requiem, Haydn's Creation, Bach's B minor Mass, and I felt that these works, and actually singing these works, put me right in touch with the Holy Spirit. It was the most joyous, uplifting feeling possible. I also feel that there's a move afoot to recognise that the Holy Spirit can be a feminine entity. In the original languages that are used about the Spirit, there seems to be definitely a feminine usage. And so, of course, we can talk about Jesus as he and him as it relates, talk about the Spirit as he and him as it relates to Jesus, but we can also think of the Spirit as a thing, an entity with a feminine nature. I think we can experience the Spirit through the arts, through painting, through music, through poetry, even through sacred dance. And I think there is always a feminine element to these activities. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. That's lovely. And of course, Diana's really good with languages. She was looking at Hebrew and Greek and Latin. So anytime we've got any questions about the ancient languages, Diana's the one to go to.
You can try.
We've also got Matt and Linda over here.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Go for it, Linda.
I've always believed in Jesus, and I was fortunate enough to go with Matt and a group to the Holy Land a few years back, and every bit of it was wonderful, it really was. But Temple Mount for me was the place to go, and I dearly wanted to stand in a spot that I knew Jesus had stood in, and I wanted to be able to just feel Jesus fill me. I took my shoes off because I felt I had to have my feet on the ground that he had stood on. And as I stood in Temple Mount, the joy, it was just overwhelming. For me, I could feel nothing better. Have a lovely aeroplane going over. The whole visit to the Holy Land was the best feeling ever, and I've not stopped glowing inside since I've gone, and to this day, just thinking about it, it's just a wonderful feeling knowing I've been where Jesus was. It did land me in a little bit of trouble, but that's the story for another day.
Thank you, Linda.
Well, I still remember that day. It was a wonderful, wonderful moment. I suppose for me, one of the great moments I can think about with the Holy Spirit is sailing. It wasn't something I was brought up with. It wasn't part of my life really until I was in my late teens, and I was taken out on various sailing dinghies, etc. And then I got into sort of slightly bigger boat sailing, and being able to be slightly offshore, able to be sort of away from the hustle and bustle of everything, and finding that stillness, that space, and yet also movement and the wind on your face and hopefully a bit of sun from time to time. Well, I found the most exhilarating and wonderful moment when I felt fully alive. And just occasionally, especially if I was able to be on deck on my own or whatever, you would have heard me singing, and often singing wonderful songs filled with joy and fully alive. And I love those times. One day I hope to get back out there and actually have another go. But for me, one of the joys of the spiritual life is making that connection between the physical sailing and actually spiritually sailing as well, all at the same time. So that would be a little story from me. Thanks, Kirsty.
Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you, Linda and Diana. And thank you all so much for sharing such personal stories, because it's sometimes difficult to share our own testimonies, but it's important because we are filled with the Holy Spirit, and being able to share those stories with other people is part of what makes us Christian and makes us able to walk alongside others and share that with others. So that's all from us from a slightly wet hilltop, and we will see you again soon. Goodbye.